Yes. Shall we watch our next
thing?
Yeah. So
fun.
Towels, as usual. Can you set it up?
Wow.
So this is Jungle's second single from their new album. I believe it is the fourth video in the sequence narratively though. So they've shot a video for each song on the album. From top to bottom with the album order, it makes sense narratively, but obviously, you know, you pull singles out. So we're not seeing it in story order. I think what you see at the beginning of the videos with the different screens, which was the same with Candle Flame, I think, or it ended this way. I think you've got little thumbnails of what's to come.
Nice.
Shay choreographed the whole thing as before.
Do you know him well?
Yes. No, not well, but I do know him.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
With Lars, who assists him on most things, and I think a young lady from France. I want to say her name's Oriane, but I'm right. Yeah, I think I've definitely not done too well with our other reaction videos with mentioning any assistants, which is a joke because it's me, and that's all I'm on about. But as long as they're credited where the credits are,
exactly.
Hey. So yeah, this is Dominoes.
Yeah,
let's go.
Is the sounding?
The sound is...
They're really good songs, man. They're such jams.
Yeah,
they are. And they shot everything in one go, I think, right?
No, they did song by song.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it wasn't one take.
No, but as in like one batch of shoots. Like it's not like they're not shooting these one by one. Like they've shot everything.
They did them all in a few days. Yeah.
I love the whole like creative direction of these things.
And it's always like similar structures too, which like they all
what was that?
Similar structures.
Like when you watch it, you're like, oh yeah, that's Jungle Video.
Yeah, true. It has an identity to it.
Even though Charlie hasn't directed them all, like from the beginning, like Busy Earning and stuff, it's very. I think the signature is still very clear somehow.
Yeah.
Shout out to Charlie. He always watches our reaction videos, and we love him for that.
Makolo in the centre is a dancer from, I believe, New Zealand.
Oh, cool.
What's I don't think it's Australia. He came for this.
Oh, mad.
I think Shay brought him in for it.
Nice. They do some nice transitions.
I think Jungle have posted like some hints about the narrative or some questions about it, and it's like Trouble in Paradise because Will and Mete's relationship has been like a running theme from the last album, and now Will's with a different lady in this video, Mete's with a different guy.
What happened? I need to know. It's like a music video, soap opera. He came all the way from New Zealand to steal your girl. Imagine someone stealing your girl and then there's just a whole bunch of dancers around them while it's happening, like just making everything way worse. But you have to watch it, and you kind of like, I rate the dancing. So I'm trying to look at the other ones.
Yeah, I'm very excited for the others.
Those are all the other videos.
Yeah, I think top right is the one that we did last week.
Go out live. Jungle dancing in a bar. I mean, how original. Y'all, this is I've Been in Love.
So that'll be the next one.
Oh.
So they always tease the next one.
Nice.
Yeah, because this one they're really... Oh, Will's getting his own back. You show her, Will.
Yes,
It's like,
so
you'll
dope.
see in
Yeah.
it.
We'll go to dinner.
Go to dinner and get drugged.
I feel like this one's slightly less striking than the last one.
What's the last one with the table?
Yeah.
Yeah, that one. I've seen that one.
Yeah, I thought that one was really cool. This one was cool though. They always have, like we said, like a good structure, a good like identity.
Yeah.
The styling is always on point.
Yeah.
I feel like also I think you were here for the last one, right?
Candle flame,
Yeah. Maybe we spoke about it. No, because I did with Lee and Lucia.
Yeah.
We did the last one. But what was I saying? Is that because we were talking, because it's like very popping heavy, the last one. And we were talking about like the people doing pop-in versus
Poppers doing pop-in.
Yeah. And it's like, do you, from a choreographer or that world standpoint, because for me it's like, okay, these guys are dope, but what I'm even more impressed by is those little like acting-y moments and like how they look on camera. Is like, there's so many people that can't do that. Like, do you find that something that you notice a lot when you see like choreo? Are you watching like, okay, you're a great dancer, but you're not, like your face is doing nothing?
Performer.
The performance aspect of it. Because I think all of these guys, it's like, if the camera goes past them, they are like in character, like looking great on camera.
Yes.
And
I
banging
think
out choreo
they
as well.
just, it feels not like a fluke, but I think they were just asked to do it. So, and based on them if I go back to like Heavy California, which is the first one that Will and Mete were a part of, and I think the first one Charlie directed as well. Shay didn't choreograph those, but I think they were brought in based on their dance skills. And then maybe it was like, oh, mad, we can develop a whole story around this because they can act. Like that might, I don't know.
Oh, right.
But given that it was less narrative and more about the dance, I imagine Charlie clocked what they were capable of and were like, oh, we could really like zoom in on that and make that a thing. Because Casio, because in Heavy California, Mete and Will are both in it, but it's not about their connection in any way, shape or form. But Casio, it clearly is. They're like in a bar and it's just a very, the one like
I
a
think
red
I remember
room.
that one. Yeah.
And I think, maybe after seeing and filming that, it was like,
Let's push
we're
this.
carrying on with that thing.
But those two that you said are not on this album. This is all new stuff.
Will and Mete.
The Casio
and Heavy California are the album before.
other album. Right. Okay, cool. So this is going to be a whole visual album, like all.
Or
the way
maybe the
through.
album before that, because Problems and Good Times. Yeah, I don't know. Definitely a bit confused by what album they're on now, but yeah, I think this is
The Jungle Cinematic Universe.
basically it's like the Marvel universe, like for real. But I think once they're done with the singles, we'll get to see it in order.
Yeah,
which I'm really looking
forward to. If you
forward
think
to.
we're not going to do a watch party of the full album, you are
very much mistaken. I bumped into Shay and I said to him, like, I would love, even if it's like a one night only thing, to see like a theatre version.
That's what we said on the last pod. Like that would be so sick.
And not like Jungle Live.
No, like the
featuring,
dances,
like just a dance show.
100%
it would
agree.
be so sick.
Because what if each thing is like 4 minutes long? Maybe how many on the album you reckon?
Like
10
to 12 maybe, yeah.
So then what? It's like a 40, 50. Yeah, you could do like maybe with some interludes or whatever. You could probably turn that into like nearly an hour piece.
Like the comments on their videos are like, you need them in your live show. Like it is. I mean, I think it's cool that it's isolated to the videos also. Like there's an argument for both.
But I think it's just like the whole thing of like the set and the fact that Jungle aren't in it and they can hold the entire like attention by themselves.
Yeah.
Plus the fact that they do the one shots, because the one shots tell me you can do this live.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I'm like, usually when you have a music video, it's so conceptual and there's different shots and different locations and blah, blah. So to translate that to stage, you're like, yeah, I get it.
Right.
But with this, it's like, it's all
made.
the sets are pre-built.
Yeah.
Like all you have to do is make a smaller version of that with less of a movement, but it's all made to be done in one go. So to rehearse that and turn that into a show shouldn't, in essence, be that hard. And I guess if Jungle aren't in the video, I don't know what they're doing in their live shows. I'm sure they're great, But
it's not a showmanship thing as much. It's just
not like Chris Brown,
a very good band. Like they are amazing live.
Yeah, so why not have that running? I don't know.
That Charlie might watch this and be like, "You lot are dead because we're planning it and it's happening in like a few months." But either way, compliments abound because it would just be a really cool thing. But just continued ratings to Jungle because from their first single onwards, it's just been dance visuals.
Yeah, we love that.
Like amazing. They're all so like all the videos are very, very good.
And to be honest with you, I don't know that I would have listened to their music.
Right. Yeah.
Like just my personal taste. Like I don't know that I would have been like, oh, let me go check out that. But now with these visuals, it's making me like the music more.
They're jams that like that. It is, really good music. And, you know, we know the majority of the dancers in the visuals and they are great. Like they've done such a good job of.
That really is like the Avengers of dancers.
Yeah.
Is this your sort of thing? Like, would you do something like that?
To be honest, I don't think so. No, because I'm very comfortable with my style.
Yeah.
So I think it will be hard for me to go outside of that.
But what if it was in your style though?
Then yes, happily.
Yo, if Charlie and
Jungle
got the Ruggeds,
do the next album with the Ruggeds.
That would be
my day.
That would be crazy.
Charlie,
that would be
seriously
sick.
Shay,
because imagine this, but like a Rugged show. Like Between Us is basically a Rugged. Between Us is basically a Jungle video that isn't a Jungle video yet. You know what I mean? Like the whole set and the different.
Yeah, that comes close.
Because what was the one where they had the different rooms and they moved along?
That was Roy Solo.
No, in the Jungle video. They had one.
Did they?
They had one that was like different rooms, and as they moved along, it's like different things happening.
And they had different like solos.
Like you could turn that into
rooms.
Between Us, and there's like each. That whole thing could be a Jungle video, man.
Honestly, guys.
Hook us up.
I'm just visual. I'm just like,
man.
Wait, all right, here's what we do. We cut this section out of the pod, right? We take this idea to a rival band of jungles and we say to them, we know how you can get over on Jungle. And
I was going to, before you're going to say cut it out so we could actually have a very legitimate conversation with Charlie about it.
No. We sell it to the opposition and we say the only way that the Ruggeds will do it, we don't tell them this, but we say the only way they'll do it is if you're choreographer and I'm assistant, right? And then we get paid, they get paid. Jungle don't get paid, but that's fine.
I'm not gonna lie. While I was doing while I was doing the run it up, I was like, how do I get myself involved in this? Not even creatively, but it's like, how do I get to be there?
You're like, have you ever thought of signing on Zudation's
I was like,
agency?
I feel like they have producers already, but I could produce it. I think it's a very sick idea.
But you know, this is such a thing of like, I'm joking, by the way, guys. But
I'm not.
No, I'm only.
What you're about to say, you're joking.
No, I was joking about selling it to a rival band unless there's one listening that wants to pay
me too.
Totally joking. No, but this is like, I love the idea of like different creatives working with different groups, because it's like, I would love to see you choreograph the Ruggeds actually.
I would love that.
Like, I think that would be so. I'd be so interested.
I just asked Lee yesterday, like if he had any background or experience with choreo, because I don't know. There's just something in your dance that speaks to other languages that aren't broken, basically. That doesn't need to mean that you've done choreo, but yeah, I just had interest in other styles, but. Yeah, I think the more that my way of choreographing is about the bodies that I'm working with, like I feel more capable actually of making work on bodies that aren't like mine at all. Whereas before it was like, this is coming out of me and how on earth do I translate this onto another person?
But I think that's like
that would be fun.
A maturity as a choreographer, right? Because it's like when you're a younger choreographer, I guess you're just like, all right, here's the moves that I do. I'm going to make 10 people do the same moves that I'm doing, right? And when you get older, you're like, right, now I feel like choreography becomes more of a thing of like, almost like puppet mastering who you have in the room, you know, and like even deeper than that of like their emotional side or whatever. But it's like, okay, I have these I don't want to say tools, but like kind of like they do different things, and I have this and I have this and I have this. How can I make them into something unique? Even if I can't do anything that you're doing, I'm pulling the strings to make you do something which you wouldn't have done if I wasn't in the room.
Yeah.
You know what
because
I mean?
like, I guess as someone that has choreographed and like taught classes, and it's been about steps and phrases for so long, there's something that feels or used to feel like a bit of a cop out, in the same way that like freestyling at a showcase would feel like a cop out. It's like, I guess I'll do a freestyle because I didn't choreograph something for it, whatever.
Yeah.
But I just think it's good to be responsive to the bodies and like the minds that are in the space. And like, I just worked with this company in Brighton called Project Female, what I mentioned, like the 6 weeks of teaching. And like, I had some ideas of what I wanted to do with them, but it's a different group than the one that I'd worked with before. And I was like, right, just give it 3 weeks to run through your III process and like see what they're about, and then start to make decisions about what you're going to shoot at the end, rather than let me create this piece and just
Not having
hope
known
that
them.
they can do it. And so I did like a freestyle session, and that be in the way. It's like, is it best to just direct them on their own thing?
Yeah.
And then the next week it was like, right, let me teach them a combo and see how they do that. And then maybe that's the way we go. And then in the end, it did make more sense than, and then the third week was like set tasks so that they can make the stuff. Cause it didn't need to be choreographed by me. Just so that said, wasn't lazy and be like, you lot make it. And I'll just say that I did it. But it ended up being best that it was a blend of all three. And as well as that being better for them and some kind of sense of ownership over what we end up with, it's also just more enjoyable. And like for me, and way less, like, just not a waste of energy. Like, the last thing I would have wanted to do is spend a whole week making a 4-minute piece that they can't end up doing.
Well, they don't even like it, or
waste.
Yeah, waste. Just to say that like I'd done my job of choreographing the piece. Like,
And
no.
I think also like why I also say it's like a maturity thing is because it's like, especially on like, for example, choreographing the ruggeds, on that high of a level of dancer or performer, part of like, I'm imagining if I had to come in and like choreograph a show for you guys, right? Or even like I don't know, come in as an outside eye. It's like, I'm going to have to look at Lee's breaking and tell him that certain things don't look good. Or I'm like, no, don't do it like that. Don't do 3 turns.
Stand in parallel and move your hands, because that's my movement language.
But I mean, like, even if you like, let's say, even if I'm choreographing on him, it's like my job as a choreographer is like, okay, show me that move. It's like, all right, we're going to do that move, but you're going to do it slower, and you're actually going to make it move like this, and you're going to do that. And it's like, I'm actually having to craft his own breaking, which is already at a high level. But my job as a choreographer is to go, I know how that's going to translate on stage, and here's how.
Just tweak what
and tweak
the dancer already
It's naturally
has.
happening.
It's very, and I've seen it happen with people where it's like, it's very easy to almost get scared to do that.
Yeah.
And to be like, well, obviously the breaker knows more than me about breaking. And yeah, they do. But you as a choreographer know more about, or hopefully know more about staging and the audience's experience. So it does take a level of like maturity and confidence to look at a specialist and go, not like that, you know?
Yes.
Because that's really intimidating sometimes.
And, you know, as performers ourselves, there's just the difference between being allowed to like show up as yourself in a performance space and like do what you do versus like leaving that at the door to like fit the mold that the choreographers putting in place. Sometimes briefs need that, of course, and hopefully it's communicated that that's why. It's like, that stuff that I know you can do really well, we're not doing that this time.
Yeah,
like,
sure.
You want it communicated so you're not just feeling like what you do is rubbish or not valued. But I just think as much room as you can leave as a choreographer for performers to do what they do, especially if it's high level, it's like, why would you not want that in the space? And I guess coming back round, that is what, especially this round of videos, like with the different styles in the mix and stuff, I think that's what Shay's doing very well. And Shay is a choreographer, like he's had somewhat of Vossi Bop onwards. So he did the Stormzy video, like, I think some people only really know him from like music video choreographer, but Shay's been about
Oh,
for
yeah.
years, and he knows his stuff. Like his foundations are very,
He was a
very
battler for a long while.
yeah, like Culture Kids, love you, Sen, I miss you. Like his foundations are strong. He's not like the stuff that he's teaching is like trendy at the minute, so he's just pulling it out of somewhere. Like the guy knows what he's doing, so
Yeah.
when it calls for popping or whatever, like he doesn't need any consultants. Like my
He's been
man's
in
just gonna do it.
Like I know him more from the freestyle scene. Like I'm more like, oh, he choreographs videos, you know,
Right,
because I know him more from the freestyle scene, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah. You have a talented country, I'll tell you that much.
Oh, God's sake. You
I
have a
don't know how
talented
it-
country. I remember the first time I went there and I was with like a boyfriend at the time, but we were still just walking around like, everyone is hot.
That's also true.
It's the most like, well, my assumption was that they were mixed race, but I think Surinamese like skin tone maybe look like, you know, so my assumption was like, I've never seen so many mixed race people in all of my life. It's like,
But in
wow.
London, it's also super mixed, no?
Yes.
London specifically.
Outside of London, I guess.
Okay.
Because yeah, I was just like, oh my gosh, I feel so seen. But yeah, the talent coming out of there is
Yeah, it's
very,
crazy.
very wild.
Yeah, the dance scene there is like, because I think I remember when, who are the hip hop guys? Like, is it Little Blade? And,
Yeah, Lil Blade, Luciano.
yeah,
Luciano
and I
from
remember when those
Pigeons.
guys were first were like the kids coming up.
I actually break with him before.
Really?
Yeah, we were in this same crew. What was it called again? Groove Kids. We were called Groove Kids, and we did Holland's Got Talent together.
Oh, sick! He's
Yeah, long.
dope.
time ago. Yeah,
But
he's
yeah-
super dope.
like just from there, and then you see like other people come out, and he obviously had some of the guys like Neek and Menno and stuff who are you know already dope. But it's just like, how many fucking, and it's not even like how much is Holland bigger than the UK? I don't know, more people. I don't know. I know nothing about like
We got
population size.
Almost 17 million.
How many is UK? I have no idea.
Yeah, I think it's way smaller.
Smaller.
The Holland is smaller than the
Yeah.
UK.
Sure.
But it's just like, how have you got this many people on that high of a level?
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
I think we have the facilities for everything.
like money wise.
Yeah, money wise, like there's always a space to do something, you know, and there's always someone to look up to because the level is high. So the generation just
It pushes
Yeah.
the other
yeah,
way.
Yeah.
it just keeps on pushing the next generation.
I guess it pays to be like if somewhere has like a rich culture,
Yeah,
it kind of pays for it to be smaller because it kind of stays concentrated, and
Yeah.
like the links to the next generation and stuff like
all there.
remain close. Whereas so strange because like we're not the States, we're not China, like we're tiny, but
Yeah.
even like London, like it still feels so like spread and separate.
But although I'm also way more speaking about the battle scene, like when me from the battle scene is looking at you guys, I'm like, whoa, you have so many high level. But if I think about our choreography and our commercial scene, we're like overflowing with dope people.
Yeah,
you know
yeah,
what I mean?
for
Like
sure.
especially compared to some like European countries where you don't have the entertainment industry that we have. It's
Yeah, I
like,
feel like we're the European kind of center of that.
yeah.
kind of.
So it's like I'm definitely thinking from like the wrong perspective because I'm like,
We're not wrong.
yeah. And I mean, also our
Different.
breaking scene is pretty solid here, right? Like European wise, like we've got some good
Yeah,
people,
yeah.
I think, from what I gather. So yeah, we're not doing too bad.
Nah.
Shaku, Kikaram,
Yeah.
Sunny,
Yeah.
they're up there.
And from what I see and hear, the younger generation coming up are like pretty
Yeah.
solid as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, shout out to the breaking scene, holding it down for the rest of us.